parents and students, welcome back. Today, we're actually not going to be looking at any songs. We're just going to be going through our chords. One of the things I noticed this week was just a little bit of bad positioning, things that we could do to make the chord sound a little bit better. So as I told some of you, today we're just going to be going really in the weeds on how to get a really good sound on these chords. So let's start with the C chord. Easy to forget this from, like the first lesson, but guitar stance is important. So let's talk a little bit about that. Guitar players, we do not sit on chairs like normal people. We actually sit at the very front of our chair. So go ahead, scoot up a little bit. Your back should not be able to touch the back of the chair. If you have a stool or something, that's actually better. Similar to how piano players use a piano bench without a back. Same thing for guitars. The back is a crutch to do this. This is lazy. This is not how you want to play guitar. You want to be on the front of your chair, sitting up straight. Okay, so sitting up straight, our elbow should be lined up right here with the saddle. This is a smaller guitar, so my elbow is going to be a little bit further back, but for most of you, your elbow should be right about there, and that's going to cause your thumb to play right over the sound hole. You don't want to play down here, and you don't want to play up here. Right over that sound hole. All right, remember, this part right here goes very comfortably on the leg, and we want our neck elevated. If you have your neck going down like this, you're going to notice your child is trying to reach really far. If you bring that neck up, a little bit easier to get to where you want. All right. So making sure that we're in a really good guitar position. I'm going to scoot back a little bit so I can see all this. All right, next up, the thumb. You might have noticed on your child's guitar I put a sticker right about here. That's where the thumb goes. Don't use your palm. You want to have just your thumb back here. Remember, when we're pushing our finger down, we're not just pushing here, we're also pushing against the back of the guitar with our thumb. So let's look at a C chord. My thumb is in a really good position, and then as you can see, I have a really good arc. Do you see how that is that circle shape? We don't want this, which is very common. Look out for that. Sometimes it's a matter of bringing more of the hand out. You do that by bringing your elbow forward a little bit, and that's going to cause, watch, this right there. This is a bad position. I bring a little bit more of my arm out, and now I have a really good position. All right, so my finger is on the tip of its finger. I like to say tippy toes for kids. It really helps visualize what we're talking about. Tippy toes of the finger. So the finger's got a good arc. My thumb is exactly where I want it to be. I'm in a really good guitar position. I put my thumb on the third string, and then I strum downwards. Okay, two things I noticed this week. Some students will just hit the one string and completely skip all the other ones. That's because their hand is going out too far. The other thing I'm noticing is kids doing this. If your string is bending this far when you're strumming, it's too hard. Easy strum, yes. Just a very nice, easy. We play a very beautiful, soft instrument. We don't need to hit it too hard. All right, once we have our C chord, just practice giving it that 1, 2, 3, 4 strum. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then try to switch that finger over to our G7. All it's going to take is hopping that first finger over to the first string. Now, the G7 chord, you might have noticed that this one is particularly difficult. That is because you're playing this first fret on the first string. This is your highest string. It's where the tension is highest. Meaning it takes more strength to push down this string than any other string. It may not feel that way once you get to the sixth string, but it actually is. This first string is the hardest one to push down and get a really clear sound out of. So the thumb becomes even more important. Make sure that thumb is on the sticker. I say this 50 times per day. finger on the sticker. Make sure that thumb is on there. So put our thumb there. We're pushing our first finger and our thumb together. I call this the Hulk chord because you want to press down like the Incredible Hulk. Make sure you're hearing that first string. Again, they're strumming all the strings. And then give that 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. I know that we all haven't gotten here, but let's quickly talk about the G chord as well. Not the G7 on this first fret, but the G chord. So, I see this a lot. Sliding that first finger up. G, right? Perfect? No. I get the idea. It's easy. You can kind of visually see your finger sliding up 3 frets, but you actually want to use your third finger. One of the things that we're trying to do, particularly in the beginning, is build good muscle memory. Muscle memory means our body remembers something without our brain really even having to tell it to do that. Our third finger knows to go to the 3rd fret because we've trained it to go to the 3rd fret. Every time you slide your finger up, you're training your finger to do that. To not bring down that 3rd finger, but to slide. One of the other things I notice a lot of people do is slide and then switch it to the 3rd finger. Still not good. You want to come down with the 3rd finger. I like to think about it if you're switching from a G7, have that 3rd finger hovering over that fret. Sort of like a flying saucer. It's just hovering right there. And then when it's time to switch, it just lands right there. Try to land perfectly on the fret. Remember, this is a good thing to go over too. Remember, we want to be as close to the bottom of the fret. You can see that. That's the bottom. This would be the top, bottom. We want to be as close to that as possible without being on the metal part of the fret. So as close as you can get to touching it without actually touching it. As for the thumb, because we are using our 3rd finger, it should stay in the exact same place. You'll notice if you use your first finger and slide it, that thumb is going to change. But if you use your 3rd finger, thumb should be able to stay exactly where it is on that sticker. Okay, I hope that this was helpful and not too confusing. Take a look at these chords. It's totally normal to spend, a couple extra weeks getting this stuff down. Don't feel bad if they're still looking at London Bridge and Skip to My Lou. Totally normal. Repetition is important. Everything in music is cumulative. We want to make sure that these foundational things at the beginning are really, really there and they understand it. All right. Thanks, everybody, and I will see you next time.